Welcome to Nosey Road St Helens for the Stones Bitter Championship clash. Saints versus Leeds. 5th of April 1987. Saints being led out today by matchday mascots Kelvin Gibson. Kelvin's age 12 and attends Haydock High School. A big day for this young fella. There he is out there with his favourites. I'll just run through the teams for you now. Saints, of course, quite a few back from the injury list. Number 1, Beavers, 2, Ledger, 3, Lachlan, 4, McCormick, 5, Litherland, 6, Bailey, 7, Doherty, 8, Burke, 9, Dwyer, 10, Fieldhouse, 11, Platt, 12, Haggerty, 13, Arkwright. Subs for today, 14, Sean Allen and 15, Paul Farber. The Leeds team, number 1, Healy, 2, Francis, 3, Creaser, 4, Gibson, 5, Mason, 6, Ashton, 7, Conway, 8, Rain, 9, Maskill, 10, Skerritt, 11, Medley, 12, Powell, 13, Heron. Substitutes 14, Holmes and 15, Gunn. I think in the Leeds lineup it's Powell has number 11 shirt on for Leeds. So that's just an amendment to the team I've just given you. Now there's Kelvin out there with the Saints captain Chris Arkwright and Leeds captain Heron with the matchday officials tossing the coin. Yes, there's the referee, Mr. Horton, giving Kelvin the coin, and there he goes away to the paddock side. That's a big day for this lad. Maybe one of these days he'll be out there playing in Saints colours. Well, Saints winning the toss, I think. Leeds going to kick off. And Saints very unfortunate the other night when they played Castleford here at Nosey Road. The lads didn't deserve losing money, but unfortunately they got beat with the aid of the referee. But anyway, away we go, Leeds kick off. Saints gather the ball, number 7, Paul Doherty. First in, coming along the line now, Tony Burke in possession, breaks out of one tackle, tries to unload, just can't release that ball. Onto John Fieldhouse, coming blindside onto Roy Haggerty, quick hands, no, Haggerty just couldn't release it. Creaser and Conway in there, Saints taking it to the right. John Fieldhouse, lovely ball from Arkwright, onto number 11, Platt, ball going crossfield, onto Barry Ledger, coming in field now. Just threw me a bit there, Andy Platt with an uncharacteristic headband on, but it's Saints again. Chris Arkwright bringing it forward, league points invaluable today. It's the last tackle now for Saints. Bernard Dwyer bringing it left, onto Phil Beavers, Grubbers for touch. Gibson, Francis, I beg your pardon, well positioned, takes the ball. The Leeds in possession. Maskill flings the ball left onto Heron. Bit of a mix up there with the Leeds side. But Leeds still in possession, taking it left. Skerritt in possession now, driving towards the halfway line. So Leeds again now bringing it right. It's an up and under kick from Leeds, but Phil Beavers back after injury, well positioned, feeds on to Kevin McCormick. Dennis Litherland comes in field, beats 2, still going forward. Played well, Dennis Litherland, in his limited appearances with first team this season. Mark Bailey now on to Chris Arkwright, trying to create a half gap and gets through there, and Saints awarded a penalty. Maskill and Skerritt there in at the tackle, and Saints awarded the first penalty of the game. Paul Lachlan kicks for touch, finds touch 10 yards short of Leeds 25. The Saints, Tony Burke, first man in, turns into the tackle, looks to unload, drives in hard. Bernard Dwyer, replacement Tuka, waiting to take that ball from the play the ball, but Saints awarded another penalty at the play the ball. Obviously the referee seeing some interference, yes, holding Tony Burke down, not allowing him to play the ball quickly. So Paul Loughlin goes over, lines up to try and kick the goal from this penalty award by referee Horton. So we played Leeds in the league early in the season, 7th of September at Headingley, and comprehensively beat them 40 points to 20. But Leeds perhaps coming back a bit now, but not the team that they used to be. All the players seem to be going old at once, and a lot of them have moved on to end the career with other clubs. So it's Paul Loughlin lining up now. Already kicked 166 goals so far this season, by way far the leading goal scorer and point scorer. But doesn't succeed with that one. The first chance of points on the board for Saints, and he takes it to the left of the posts. So Leeds now to restart, 25-yard dropout. Creaser drops out, Andy Platt takes the ball, strides forward. Tremendous forward this Andy Platt, back after injury. Saints bring it blind, onto Roy Haggerty. Goes through them, Mark Bailey in support, but he just can't release that ball. Looks much more effective in the second row, Haggerty. Played well against Castleford the other night, but rather subdued in the centre spot. He loves being right in the thick of it. Anyway, Chris Arkwright creating the gap, feeds inside to Doherty. Looking through them, still going forward, Paul Doherty. But Saints just outside Leeds 25. Bernard Dwyer bringing it left to John Fieldhouse. Going forward, trying to create the gap. Looking to feed it out to Tony Burke, finally lets it go. Scooped up by Paul Doherty. Coming blindside here, on to Kevin McCormick. Saints leading try scorer with 21 touchdowns this season, brought down just short of the 25. And it's Bernard Dwyer, on to Chris Arkwright. Saints taking it right. Mark Bailey, on to Andy Platt. Creates the gap, looking for support there, but can't release that ball. Last tackle now for Saints. Mark Bailey taking it blindside, on to Bernard Dwyer. Kick over to Barry Ledger's wing, and the ball coming back to Saints, but being ruled offside by referee Horton. So Leeds' first penalty of the game so far. Creaser stepping up to take this penalty. Finds touch, 10 yards short of the halfway. And it's Maskell now. Play the ball, first man in, Rain. For Leeds, Maskell again, acting half-back, feeds on to Skerritt. Another drive in from both Leeds props, and it's Maskell again as a half-back, taking it left. On to number 6, Ashton, the ex-Oldham half-back, but the ball goes down quickly, scooped up by Chris Arkwright. Saints on the attack, on to Roy Haggerty, coming over here to this Saints left wing. Bernard Dwyer, onto Doherty, onto Tony Burke. Shrugs one off Burke, looks to unload, but Creaser and Maskell in there bundle him down. Right on the halfway. But Bernard Dwyer again for Saints, acting halfback, brings it blindside, onto Kevin McCormick, going infield. But the Tattlers quickly in there, bundle him down. Saints taking it to the right. John Fieldhouse, Doherty, onto Arkwright. Well, being a judge to have knocked on, but looks as though it went backwards in my opinion. It's probably slippy conditions out there. We've had a lot of rain here at St Helens this morning, tailing off to slight drizzle around about the dinner time, but I would imagine handling conditions very slippy out there. So Conway to feed, first scrum of the match, comes out Leeds side. Leeds coming over, Phil Beavers linking up with his backs and bundles his opposing number, Healy down there. And he's in there again, Beavers, with the aid of Doherty and Mark Bailey. So Conway brings it blindside onto Powell, his second row forward for Leeds. Gains a valuable 5 yards, and Maskell up the active half-back, and Leeds take it left. Onto Conway, cross to number 6, Ashton, and Leeds taking it crossfield. Saints defence up there quickly, smother the attack out. So it's Conway, acting half-back, and Leeds kick it downfield and fine touch, 5 yards inside Saints 25. So scrum down again with Paul Doherty. Taking that ball, spreading it out quickly to Mark Bailey. Tries to create the gap, and a heavy tackle there from Heron. And with Bailey losing the ball and the ball coming up to Leeds, Powell, second row forward, in possession. Creaser acting half-back, lays it forward, but Saints tackling there. Mark Bailey receiving some treatment from that heavy tackle there from Heron, but it's Leeds half-back further. Conway in possession, Maskill acting half-back, taking it left. Ashton in possession now, feeds it inside, Leeds on the attack, just about 15 yards from Saints try line. Maskill over to Powell now, dummies, but feeds on to number 12, Medley. Leeds coming over here, Medley still in possession, brought down a couple of yards short of the try line, and it's the last tackle for Leeds now, and a penalty. Well, they had to think about that, but a penalty to Leeds for interference at the play of the ball. So 2 penalties each at present. Leeds going to try and convert this penalty into points. Creaser, prolific goal scorer for the Leeds outfit, stepping up to see if he can convert this penalty kick about 20 yards out with the angle, just to the right of the posts. Ten minutes gone of the game so far, and Leeds' first chance to get points on the board. Creaser stepping back. Taking his time there, much to the displeasure of the Saints crowd, but he bangs it right between the uprights. So Leeds open their account, and the first scoring of the match. Creaser with a 10th minute penalty goal, so it's Saints 0, Leeds 2. So Paul Loughlin to restart, kicks upfield, taken by this number 2 winger Francis. Chris Arkwright, Andy Platt, pick him up, bundle him down bodily. Maskill acting halfback, takes it left onto Rain, loses his footing. As I was saying, this probably slippy conditions midfield, a lot of rain here in the early morning. Well, blatant forward pass there, yes, seen by the referee. Maskill there gathering that forward pass, but being brought back, and a scrum down just outside Leeds 25. Doherty to feed, ball coming with the feed, but being knocked on. Referee quickly spotting it, so it's a scrum down again, the same position with Conway to feed. Ball coming out Leeds side and being adjudged to fed the scrum, so a differential penalty to Saints just outside Leeds 25. Quickly taken by Bernard Dwyer, onto Chris Arkwright, John Fieldhouse along the line, Mark Bailey tries to break through the defence there but just can't get through. Bernard Dwyer bringing it blindside, onto Roy Haggerty, stands up in the tackle, just breaking out temporarily there, but Maskill it was, finally bundling down. Saints bringing it blind again. John Fieldhouse changing direction, inside to Tony Burke, driving forward, tremendous forward this Burke. Man of the match against Hull KR last Sunday, and Leeds by example. Saints looking lively, onto Bernard Dwyer, shrugs one tackle off, heads towards the posts. Paul Doherty acting halfback, quickly taken onto John Fieldhouse, loop movement with Doherty, lovely pass onto Mark Bailey, still keeping the ball going. Yes, Roy Haggerty, I think it is, over there to the right of the post. Oh, Chris Arkwright. Paul Doherty acting halfback, quickly taken onto John Fieldhouse, loop movement with Doherty, lovely pass onto Mark Bailey, still keeping the ball going. Yes, Roy Haggerty, I think it is, over there to the right of the post. Oh, Chris Arkwright. Chris Arkwright it was. Yes, in support there. Paul Doherty doing well, looping with John Fieldhouse. The ball going over to the right, and Chris Arkwright finally touching down over midway between the touchline and the right hand upright. So Chris Arkwright going over there for his 19th try of the season, and Saints in the lead now at present, 4 points to 2, with Paul Loughlin to tag on this conversion. To the right of the posts, similar position to what Creases was, about 25 yards out, and Paul Loughlin lines up, hits the post and goes to the right. So unlucky there, but Saints in the lead, 4 points to 2. Brilliant work there from Saints, looking very lively in the attack, with Chris Arkwright going over there just to the right of the sticks. So it's Creaser now. To restart for Leeds. A low kick taken by Doherty, fed on to Chris Arkwright. Chris Arkwright, Saints tries to go to there, and the ball coming to the left onto Tony Burke. Drives forward, pushes Creaser out of the way, stands up and releases the ball to Bernard Dwyer. Bernard Dwyer playing very well, taking the hooker's role today with injuries to Graham Liptrot and Dave Harrison, but Bernard Dwyer can fill that spot in, and the ball coming over left. Kevin McCormick going on it. Oh, outpace the defence, leads on to Dennis Litherland, and into the line. Brilliant work by Saints, and Litherland's over there, just behind the sticks. Well, brilliant work there from Saints. Into passing, back down here on their own 25. The ball being released over to Kevin McCormick. Outpaced the Leeds defence. Brilliant work. Dennis Litherland coming in field as an experienced winger should. And Kevin McCormick released the ball to him. And Powell couldn't complete the tackle. Tried to tap his ankles, but Litherland, veteran winger for Saints, pulls away and touches down just behind the left-hand upright. With injuries to Graham Liptrot and Dave Harrison, but Bernard Dwyer can fill that spot in, and the ball coming over left. Kevin McCormick going on it. Oh, outpace the defence, leads on to Dennis Litherland, and into the line. Brilliant work by Saints, and Litherland's over there, just behind the sticks. Well, brilliant work there from Saints. Into passing, back down here on their own 25. The ball being released over to Kevin McCormick. Outpaced the Leeds defence. Brilliant work. Dennis Litherland coming in field as an experienced winger should. And Kevin McCormick released the ball to him. And Powell couldn't complete the tackle. Tried to tap his ankles, but Litherland, veteran winger for Saints, pulls away and touches down just behind the left-hand upright. Brilliant try by Dennis Litherland, his 4th of the season. Scored 2 against Leeds the other week in the evening match, so an easier attempt for Paul Loughlin now. Makes no mistake with that attempt. Opens his account for today, so that's Paul Loughlin's 167th goal of the season, and Saints going to a 10 points to 2 lead now. That's after 15 minutes of this game so far. Brilliant interpassing there from Saints. This is a sign of things to come. They've looked like that, throwing the ball about in the early minutes. It certainly paid off there. Well, it's Creaser to restart again. Kicks it deep, taken by Paul Loughlin. Gathers the ball, drives towards the 25. Tony Burke in possession, still going forward, takes some pulling down this Burke. Ex-Conway and Ashton, I beg your pardon, and Medley to pull him down. But Paul Doherty coming away with Mark Bailey there. Well, Mark Bailey on the left and Bernard Dwyer on the right, but he didn't release that ball that time, but Saints taking it crossfield. Andy Platt brought down on the halfway line. Chris Arkwright acting half-back. Saints looking lively. Bernard Dwyer cross to Mark Bailey. On to Roy Haggerty lurking here on this left wing. Reverse pass to John Fieldhouse. On to Mark Bailey. Kevin McCormick again. Inside to Mark Bailey. Brilliant. Into passing work by Saints. Quick hands. And it's the last tackle now of this set of 6. And Bernard Wyatt taking it right to Doherty. Crossfield to Beavers in the line. Chris Arkwright onto Andy Platt. The ball going to ground. Flicked up there by Andy Platt and Paul Loughlin, but being adjudged a knock-on. Unlucky the midfield, Andy Platt there, and the ball going down. It's a scrum down nearly 10 yards inside Leeds half, with Conway to feed for Leeds. Scrum finally to the referee's liking and coming out Leeds side. Brilliant tackle from Kevin McCormick there, takes Creaser down. It's taking it to the left. Tony Burke and Andy Platt complete the tackle on Heron. Maskell there onto Powell, this big second row forward for Leeds. Maskell, as ever, acting half-back, taking it to the left. Onto Skerritt, turns into the tackle, but being dumped down unceremoniously there by Bernard Dwyer and John Fieldhouse. And Leeds again, spreading it right. Heron onto this number 12 forward, Medley. Good forward, Medley. Creaser acting half-back. Grubbers for touch, but Kevin McCormick well positioned, gathers the ball. Playing in the centre today, Kevin McCormick, enabling Dennis Litherland to move into the left wing spot, and no problem there. Lovely break there. Haggerty in possession, pouring up that right hand wing. Paul Loughlin just behind him and Valley Ledger with him, but he couldn't release that ball. Plenty of Leeds attention, but it's on the attack. Fieldhouse passes back to Chris Arkwright, but the ball eluding him that time, and Leeds are in possession, but they're pegged down in their own half, and Saints penalised there for offside at the play of the ball. So it's quick tap penalty to be taken by Maskell. Feeds onto Rain, goes forward. Tony Burke, Andy Platt and Bernard Dwyer complete the tackle, and they're bringing it to the right side. Maskell acting half-back, taking it left. Onto Conway, onto Ashton, crossfield. Change of direction from Leeds. Medley again, coming forward. No way through for him. Mark Bailey, Bernard Dwyer. Crash him down. But it's onto Ashton. This lively half-back. And Creaser in possession. Taken down. Well taken down there by Kevin McCormick. Right in front of the sticks. It's the last tackle for Leeds now. Ashton, cross to Maskell. Little chip kick through. Ball gathered by Dennis Litherland, but he runs into touch with it, so it's a scrum down about 5 yards from Saints' try line. Leeds pressing there. Creaser getting the ball and being brought down in front of the sticks, but they spread the ball out on the last tackle over to the Leeds right wing. And the ball coming out Leeds side. It's Conway going towards the Saints line. Francis, acting half-back, takes it back to Rain, being pushed back, Chris Arkwright and Paul Doherty in bundling back, losing ground, and Maskell over to Ashton, crossfield to Heron, taking it cross again. Paul Loughlin well positioned there, bundling down, and they lose another 10 yards, Leeds. So Conway again, taking it to Ashton, lofted pass, over there, taken by Gibson. And he loses the ball as he tries to go over. And Saints finally kick it dead. Well, obviously a knock on there, but the referee waiting for Saints to kick it dead. So in that rate, I would imagine if the Leeds player had gone to touchdown, he wouldn't have allowed the try. He would have given the knock on then, and then it would have been a 5-yard scrum. But now it's a line drop out. Saints having to kick out from underneath their own sticks. Phil Beavers going to kick it out. Leeds snuffed out the good solid tackling. Beavers a good 55-yard, 60-yard drop out there. The ball finally coming out to Mason, this left wing for Leeds today, and Maskell again. Onto Skerritt, ex-international forward Skerritt. Chris Arkwright with the aid of John Fieldhouse and Tony Burke. Bundle him down, onto Rain again. Coming through, Andy Platt. stops his gallop, and Leeds just brought down short of the 25 and being ruled to have knocked on the rein in his attempts to get up and play the ball. So it's a scrum down 5 yards just outside Saints 25 with Paul Doherty to feed, and a loose arm. The Leeds handing out of the scrum, so penalty to Saints. Paul Loughlin stepping up to take this penalty, kicking over here to the Popular side. Gains a valuable 10 yards there, so right on the halfway line, restart. Bernard Dwyer, first man in John Fieldhouse, drives forward, tries to feed on, knocked down by the Leeds player. Well, no knock on there, that came off the Leeds man, but being adjudged to have been knocked forward by referee Horton. So it's a scrum down just about 10 yards inside Leeds half, with Conway, Leeds scrum half, to feed this time. Ball going with the feed, Ashton in possession, full back, Healy linking up. The ball being spread out to Gibson. Just breaks into Saints half. Well taken down by Andy Platt, and Leeds take it to the left. Looking for the way through, but brought down midway between the halfway and 25 in Saints half, and Maskill again bringing it over to the right. Rain in possession. Maskill again. Leeds bringing it to the right. Conway playing a dummy movement there, but feeds on to Creaser. Tries to feed back to Conway coming through, but it would have been a forward if he'd let it go, and Leeds spread it to the left. Heron onto Powell. Loose ball there, quickly gathered by Paul Loughlin. Brought down on the halfway line, the ball's loose, and it comes back. Well, he's got, so that's a knock on as well. Sort the bones out of that, but Paul Loughlin there taking a knock as he's tackled with that ball right on the halfway. But it's going to be a scrum down on the halfway. The Saints leading 10 points to 2 at present, with 24 minutes of the game gone so far. And Paul Loughlin up and about now. Conway, scrum half for Leeds to feed. Ball being kicked out. Paul Doherty quickly up there, loose ball, quickly gathered by Mark Bailey, but he lost the ball, unlucky there Bailey. In there quickly, but just couldn't gather that ball. So Saints still in possession, Leeds in possession. Onto Creaser, inside to Conway, brought down just short of the halfway. Creaser acting halfback, onto Maskill, onto Powell, taking it over to the left. Rain coming through, but Powell couldn't release that ball. So it's Maskill again. Taking it over there on the blind side. Oh, super tackle there. Super tackle there from Saints captain Chris Arkwright. And Leeds kick down for touch. Barry Ledger just kicks that ball in field. Comes crossfield. Beats one, but a two-man Leeds tackle coming, bringing down just short of the 25. And it's Doherty. Onto Tony Burke, coming from deep, driving forward. Shrugs two off. But just can't get past Creaser. And it's Bernard Dwyer, loop movement with Paul Doherty. Creates the gap, Dwyer. Mark Bailey with him. Feeds inside to Mark Bailey. Inside to John Fieldhouse. There's the ball, still kept going. Onto Paul Loughlin, stretching his legs. Still going. Comes inside. Brilliant, yes! Doherty goes over to the right of the stick. It's Bernard Dwyer, loop movement with Paul Doherty. Creates the gap, Dwyer. Mark Bailey with him. Feeds inside to Mark Bailey, inside to John Fieldhouse. There's the ball, still kept going. Onto Paul Loughlin, stretching his legs, still going. Comes inside, brilliant, yes! Doherty goes over to the right of the sticks. Brilliant play there from Saints. Doherty opening his try-scoring account with Saints this season. And what a try that was. Into passing, good hands from Saints. Brilliant play, and 25 minutes gone. And Doherty with another nail in Leeds' coffin. Brilliant into passing, all backing up there. And Paul Doherty finally going over just to the right of the sticks. And rightly so, receiving the applause of this Saints crowd. So Paul Loughlin lining up, an easy conversion for him. Slots it right between the sticks. 16 points to 2, Saints in the lead. Paul Loughlin slotting over his 168th goal of the season there. And as I've just said before, brilliant interpassing there from Saints. So Creaser to restart again. Saints in the driving seat at present. Leeds opening the scoring in the 10th minute, but Saints looking by far the superior side, even in the opening 10 minutes. And finally putting points on the board. So Creaser kicks off deep into the Saints half, taken by Paul Loughlin. Chris Arkwright linking up with him. Loughlin dummies. He sees a rather head-high tackle there from Rain. Being spoken to by the referee, but they don't seem to speak severely enough to them for these head-high tackles. And Paul Loughlin receiving treatment there from Saints physio Tim Deakin. The penalty kick to touch, but not gaining much yardage. The restart on the 25. Roy Haggerty now, first man in. Bernard Dwyer quickly playing it, and I said Roy Haggerty, first man in. And Dwyer again. Saints bringing it left. Arkwright onto Tony Burke. Shrugging one off. Still going Burke. Gets it out to Arkwright. Quick hands from Saints. Andy Platt onto John Fieldhouse. Oh, brilliant! Brilliant interpassing from Saints. Doherty, dummy in there. Inside to Dennis Litherland. Going infield. Has a good experience winger should do, and Saints on the rampage. Phil Weaver's coming up with the line, onto Chris Arkwright. Brought down midway between Leeds 25 and the halfway line, with John Fieldhouse bringing it blindside. Onto Mark Bailey, onto Kevin McCormick, trying to create space there. But Creaser bundles him down, stops the Saints flow of play there, but Saints taking it right. Onto Doug Dwyer, onto Andy Platt, releases the ball to Roy Haggerty, being adjudged a forward pass by referee Horton. And being brought back, but very lively these Saints. Good interpassing hands. Take nothing away from these lads that played on Wednesday night against Castleford, but a few more first team regulars back in. And you can see the difference. They're actually creating the gaps. Unfortunately, we couldn't create any gaps the other night. I mean, Castleford were lining up very well, but that's what I wanted, a chip over the head, but the gaps are being created right away today. But at that scrum, Saints being penalised. So it's Creaser to kick for touch over to this popular side, and finding touch just about 5 yards inside Saints half. Maskill, hooker for Leeds, feeding on, first man in, Skerritt, head down, drives in, but takes nothing out of Tony Burke and Bernard Dwyer there. And Bernard Dwyer receiving a knock to his left shoulder in that tackle. As Leeds take it midfield, Roy Haggerty and Chris Arkwright bundle him down midway between the halfway and Saints 25. Onto Maskill again, onto Rain. Tony Burke, John Fieldhouse complete the tackle, and Leeds bringing it left. Onto Heron, versatile loose forward with Haggerty, stops him, but he gets the ball out to second row Powell, still going, but not gaining much ground. Leeds at present. Powell finally getting to his feet, taking the ball left. Leeds onto Conway, onto Healy, linking up with the line. That's the last tackle now for Leeds in this set of 6. And to Maskill, Grubbers to touch, finds touch 5 yards inside Saints 25. So Paul Doherty to feed. Ball coming out Leeds side, but the referee not happy with that. Paul Doherty again. Yes, the ball coming out Saints side, is it? No. Leeds pushing Saints off the ball there. and Conway quickly down on it, and Leeds bring it to the right. Ashton over to Powell. Well taken down there. Paul Loughlin coming in field and stopping Gibson. But it's Leeds in possession, bringing it to the right. Heron. Crease there, overrunning him. Now it's Conway, acting half-back. Leeds taking it to the left. On to Ashton. Dummies behind Maskill. A hint of obstruction, but it's Creaser. Feeds inside there to Heron. And Leeds going in for a try to the right of the post. That last pass from Creaser to Heron looked forward in my opinion, but the referee right on the job, and he gives the try. So 32 minutes gone of this first half, and Heron going over for a try to the right of Saints' posts. So at present 16 points to 6 in Saints' favour, with what looks like an easy conversion for Creaser, I beg your pardon, to tag the extra 2 points on. Well, as I said before, we've only played Leeds just in the league fixture this season. Not had them in any cup competition, but last season we played Leeds in the first round Premiership here at Knowsley Road, and was beaten 38 points to 22, but in the first 10-15 minutes it should have been 18 points on the board, but we just didn't get the rub of the green that day, and that's how it goes. But here now, Leeds just getting the first try on the board. 16 points to 6 at present. Creaser lining up, converts the try. So 16 points to 8, with about 7 minutes of this first half remaining. Paul Loughlin now to restart. Taken by Francis. Gathers the ball safely, drives to the 25. Brought down right on the 25 by Chris Arkwright and Roy Haggerty. And it's Maskill, hooker for Leeds, acting half-back, taking it left. On to Skerritt, looking to drive forward. Couple of drives from the props. Here's the other one, Rain. Gains a valuable 10 yards for Leeds. And Leeds midway between the halfway and their own 25. Bringing it cross-field. Heron now looking inside for support, but the ball going down. Quickly scooped up by Mark Bailey. But Conway quickly in on him there, bangs him down. But Saints with Bernard Dwyer just getting into Leeds half. Chris Arkwright taking the acting half-back position. Feeds it left to John Fieldhouse. Three-man Leeds tackle there. Snuff him out temporarily. And Bernard Dwyer takes it right onto Roy Haggerty. Tremendous forward this Haggerty. Just gaining his full international honours this season. Feeds onto Andy Platt. Saints gradually making ground. Paul Loughlin over to Chris Arkwright, looking for the half gap. Oh, pinpoint pass there from Arkwright, but unfortunately going to Creaser, and he's going to outpace Phil Beavers and touches down to the right of the sticks. Well, unlucky. Chris Arkwright created the gap there, fed out over here onto the Saints left wing, but Creaser read that well, gathered the ball and goes into the right of the sticks. So 16 points to 12 at present for Saints, with Creaser to convert his own try, but going down injured. Well, must want a breather before taking this goal kick. Leeds physio coming on now, giving him treatment. The referee stopped the clock, and Creaser receiving treatment before his attempt to convert his own try. 16 points to 12 at present. Well, he's alright now. It's surprising what these magic sponges can do. So he's had his breather. He's going to attempt to tag the 2 points on. Shouldn't be much problem for a kicker of his calibre. Creaser lining up to convert his own try. Just about 10-11 yards out and just to the right of the post. Slots it over, so 16 points to 14. Saints with just a slender lead. Leeds hitting back there with 2 tries in 3 minutes. 32nd minute from Heron with a Creaser goal, and the 35th minute with a Creaser try and goal. Saints kick off. Leeds gather it. Skerritt in possession. Dwyer and Platt bundle him down, and it's Maskill taking it left onto Conway. Rain coming through. Bundled down by Fieldhouse. Chris Arkwright stopping him initially, and it's Saints again. Leeds again taking it left onto Powell. This big second row forward for Leeds, but they're not making much ground at present. Leeds being held back there by Saints, and Leeds kicking through, but Phil Beaver's there. Well possession, gathers the ball just in his own 25. Barry Ledger linking up with him, feeds onto Barry Ledger, outpaces Gibson, but brought down midfield by Mason and Powell. But it's Tony Burke now coming over here to the Saints left wing, being brought down midway between the 25 and the halfway. Roy Haggerty feeds him feet into Kevin McCormick. Did well there, Roy Haggerty. He'll take him on 2 and 3 and spread the ball. But Saints now in possession, taking it right onto Mark Bailey. Sees the Leeds cover coming up very quickly and holds onto his pass. But he's dunked down by Powell and Hooter Maskill. The Saints bring it blindside onto Chris Arkwright. Holds the pass there. You see Creaser again looking for that interception. The Saints onto Doherty. Onto Bernard Dwyer. Lofted pass there from Dwyer, and Gibson gathers it. So Leeds in possession. Mason, left winger for Leeds, coming in. Not had much to do, Mason, as you can see by the colour of his shirt. But it's Conway, this lively scrum half for Leeds. In possession, just brought down short of Saints 25. Maskell over to Skerritt. Turns in the tackle, looks to unload, but just gaining further yardage into Saints 25. Ray Ashton now looking for runners, but they wasn't coming up very quickly. Stops, finally feeds out. So it's Leeds bringing the ball back. Doherty well in there. Does he gather that ball? Yes, I think he has. Did very well there, Doherty. Could see the long pass, loose pass from Leeds. Taken by Andy Platt there, did well Doherty. Andy Platt gets the ball, goes into the first Leeds tackle, and heavy tackle from Leeds, and he loses the ball, so Leeds in possession, just inside their own half. Powell onto Conway, coming crossfield here. Number 12, Medley, taken down by John Fieldhouse. Well, that's another rubbish decision, that. John Fieldhouse holding him down, Medley there wriggling away in the tackle, and John Fieldhouse being ruled to have holding Medley down in the tackle. So Leeds here, Creaser going to line up, see if they can level the scores up. 16 points to 14 at present, and see if they can level it up with this penalty conversion kick. It's all on half time now, and Creaser lining up there, see if he can convert this penalty. Obviously Medley fooling the referee into giving a penalty for himself, doing a lot of wriggling in the play of the ball. So it's Creaser lining up now. If he kicks this, the scores will be all level, 16 points apiece. Yes, and he kicks that right on half time. Yes, there's the hooter. So the team's going now all square, 16 points each. early tries from Arkwright, Litherland and Doherty, with 2 Paul Loughlin conversions, and then Leeds sitting back in the last 8 minutes with 2 tries, one from Heron, one from Creaser, 2 Creaser goals, and then a final Creaser penalty goal on the half-time, so 16 points each. Well, back with you here at Knowsley Road. Leeds coming out in a change strip. Well, most of them. Which will be very helpful to me, provided they've got numbers on the back. Yes, that's all right now. Here come the Saints. As far as I'm aware, no substitutions for either the team at half-time. Paul Loughlin to restart. And away we go. 16 points apiece this first half. Ball being kicked deep by Loughlin, taken by number 2 for Leeds, Francis, being brought down just outside his 25. On to Rain, Kevin Rain now driving forward, approaching the halfway line. Maskell, hooker for Leeds, acting half back, going to bring it left over to Skerritt. Goes in there, Skerritt, yes, with the arm, and Andy Platt, yes, injured there, and being penalised, Skerritt, for going in with the stiff arm in the tackle, obviously putting his elbow up in the tackle, and Andy Platt there with John Fieldhouse effecting the tackle, but receiving a knock in the face. But in the shoulder there, looking, rubbing his injured shoulder. Saints physio Tim Deakin going on there, treating Andy Platt, but Saints getting a penalty, the first penalty in the opening minute of the second half. So Paul Loughlin lining up now, trying to get early points on the board for Saints. Trevor Skerritt there being penalised for a high elbow in the tackle. Paul Loughlin lining up, 45 yards out, looks decent from here, no, but goes to the left of the post and goes dead. So it's Saints to receive the ball back, a 25-yard dropout for Leeds. Creaser going to line up now to drop this ball out, so Saints are going to regain possession. Brings it over to Saints right wing. Paul Loughlin gathers the ball. That Barry Ledger going infield. Paul Loughlin takes the tackle of Mason and Ashton. Tony Burke now for Saints in possession, going crossfield and brought down just short of the halfway line. Bernard Dwyer taking it left onto John Fieldhouse. Saints crowd here trying for offside at the play of the ball. It's Chris Arkwright in possession, turning round, tries to spread the ball out. Solid Leeds tackling, stop him doing that. The ball coming now to Bernard Dwyer. Tony Burke acting half back, takes it left over to Roy Haggerty, lurking there on the left wing, tries to feed inside to Kevin McCormick. It's the last tackle of this first set of 6 in the second half. Bernard Dwyer tries to kick for touch, but the ball going directly into touch, so it's a scrum down midway between the halfway and Leeds 25. First scrum of the second half, with Conway to feed. In the second row there, but he's actually penalised Conway for not retiring. Paul Loughlin again with a good kick there, finds touch 10 yards short of Leeds try line. Saints putting some early pressure. First man in, John Fieldhouse. Still going. Fieldhouse brought down 5 yards short of Leeds try line. Bernard Dwyer acting half-back, bringing it left. Chris Arkwright, dummy movement with Arkwright with Roy Haggerty, but he doesn't evade the tackle of Paul Medley. The Saints still in possession. He must be offside there at the play the ball, not allowing Tony Burke to play the ball. The Saints still in possession. John Fieldhouse bringing it right onto Roy Haggerty. Tries to feed on, does to Phil Beavers, linking up with the back division. Beats one, still going Beavers. Brought down 10 yards from Leeds try line. So the Saints on the attack, quickly played onto Mark Bailey. Cross here to Paul Loughlin, taking it in field. Quick hands from Doherty onto Beavers. Overlap here for Saints. Andy Platt must be in under the sticks. Yes. Just touches down to the left of the sticks. Some sustained Saints pressure onto Mark Bailey. Cross here to Paul Loughlin, taking it in field. Quick hands from Doherty onto Beavers. Overlap here for Saints. Andy Platt must be in under the sticks. Yes. Just touches down to the left of the sticks. Some sustained Saints pressure there. Finally pays off with Andy Platt putting Saints back into the lead. Touching down just to the left of the posts. Well, Andy Platt there, that's his 11th try of the season. Coming back today after injury problems. I know he's just had an operation for an abscess in his ear. That's why he'll be wearing the headband. And ever lively Platt goes over to the left of the posts, putting Saints in the lead now, 20 points to 16, with the Paul Loughlin conversion just looking a formality. Right from in front of the sticks. Yes, no problem there. Paul Loughlin converts that Andy Platt try, so 22 points to 16. Saints back in the driving seat. And Paul Loughlin's 169th goal of the season. So it's Leeds to restart with Creaser. Heron there, just the referee having a word with Heron. He is the captain, but he must have said something out of turn. And duly being spoken to by referee Horton. So Creaser to restart. Kicks it deep, taken by Paul Loughlin. Goes well there. Comes crossfield, onto Andy Platt, into space, flicks it out to Roy Haggerty, down that left wing, onto Kevin McCormack, inside to Roy Haggerty, good interpassing from Saints, back to Kevin McCormack, coming infield, just brought down short of the 25, well, a good 50 odd yard movement there from Saints, and Saints still in possession, looking lively, swinging it to the right, Chris Arkwright's now in possession, just can't release that ball. Brought down 10 yards short of Leeds 25, with Doherty acting halfback, takes it over to Bernard Dwyer, on to Paul Doherty, change of direction, takes it over to Mark Bailey, overlap here for Saints, Mark Bailey gets inside Leeds 25, 10 yards inside, he's brought down, Roy Haggerty taking the acting halfback position, but Mark Bailey taking a knock in that tackle, but Roy Haggerty acting halfback, takes it on his own, feeds out to Bernard Dwyer, Andy Platt coming through there on the burst, but he couldn't release that ball, so it's the last tackle now for Saints. Phil Beavers coming up, feeds on to Andy Platt. Phil Beavers coming back for the return pass, but it's the first changeover of the game, and Andy Platt being taken down there 10 yards short of Leeds try line. The score still 22 points to 16 for Saints, and we've been playing 7 minutes of this second half. So it's Leeds in possession, Ashton on to Powell, this big second row forward for Leeds, and Maskill acting halfback as ever, but the referee stops the clock for an injury to Mark Bailey, an injury sustained there when Bailey tried to break through, so it looks as though Saints are going to have to make a substitution with Sean Allen coming on for Mark Bailey. Yes, obviously a leg ankle injury there to Mark Bailey, having a lot of trouble. Yes, they're taking him straight off, I think, receiving the applause of the Saints crowd. Sean Allen there coming on as a replacement for Mark Bailey. The referee orders the clock to be restarted. Leeds in possession now from that changeover and brought down just short of their own 25. It's Powell now being taken down. Andy Platt, Roy Haggerty in there, bundle him down, and Leeds still pegged down in their own 25. Over to Rain now. Doherty and Sean Allen with Tony Burke. Effect the tackle, which Leeds and Skerritt coming through again with that elbow raised rather high, but everything's okay this time. The ball coming back to Healy. Kicks upfield. Oh, Conway, that was, I beg your pardon. Coming upfield, Barry Ledger gathers. Phil Beaver's with him. Barry Ledger beats one, gets past Gibson. Just brought down short of the 25, and it's Bernard Dwyer. The Saints, unfortunately, knocking on at that play the ball. Tried to get it away quickly. The ball being knocked forward, so it's a scrum down right on Saints 25. Conway to feed. The ball goes with the feed. Leeds in possession. Coming crossfield. Healy runs right into Paul Loughlin, dumps him down. Just short of the 25, but it's Leeds on the attack. Medley now. Dumped down there. Loughlin round the bottom and Dwyer round the top. Skerritt again. Fieldhouse, Haggerty. And Andy Platt. Thunder him down. Leeds taking it right. On to Ashton, short ball onto Heron. Inside, Powell in possession. Ball going over there to Francis, but Saints cover defence very quickly over there to that Leeds right wing. Snuff out the attack, and the ball coming off the Leeds player, so it's everything okay there. Saints in possession. Quick play the ball there. Good cover defence from Saints at that play the ball. The ball coming back to the Leeds man, it being coming off his legs, bouncing forward, and Saints regathering possession. And John Fieldhouse in possession. 10 yards short of their own 25. The ball coming back to Paul Loughlin, going to kick downfield. Does so. Healy, full back for Leeds, gathers the ball midfield, drives forward. Tony Burke and Kevin McCormack bundle him down 10 yards inside Saints half. Heron, Rain, I beg your pardon, in possession, but Leeds spreading it left. Heron now onto Conway, crossfield to Medley, taken down by Sean Allen with John Fieldhouse. Ashton inside to Heron. Medley gathers that ball, scoops it up. 10 yards, taken down 10 yards short of Saints 25, with Conway as the acting halfback for Leeds. Over to Maskill, he grubbers crossfield, 4 touch, and finds touch 5 yards inside Saints 25. So Leeds there just putting Saints under a little pressure at present, but Leeds Saints defence there holding out well. Scrum down, Doherty to feed, but the ball coming out Leeds side. Healy linking up there with the Leeds back line, making the extra man, and it's onto Ashton now. Pass to Gibson, but Ledger well in there, but Gibson rolls over out of the Ledger tackle, but it's finally bundled down. Arkwright and Tony Burke finish the job off. Midfield, 20 yards short of Saints try line. Over to Ashton again, onto Skerritt. Looking to break through the tackle and feed on, but he's bundled down there. Saints defence holds out well. Loughlin, Doherty, bundle him down. Ashton for Leeds, crossfield. Loose ball, John Fieldhouse gathers that loose ball quickly, and Saints on the attack. Onto Andy Platt, over to the left wing. Onto Sean Allen. Taking it to the, brought down 10 yards short of the halfway. Bernard Dwyer just losing his foot in there as he gets the ball. I think caught in two minds in case the referee assumed he was tackled. We're electing to take the tackle, but Chris Arkwright now in possession. Doherty acting halfback. Takes it back to Paul Loughlin. Kicks upfield again. But the ball going directly into touch over there on the paddock side, just near Leeds 25. So play being brought back to 10 yards just outside of Saints 25, with Conway to feed. 13 minutes of the second half gone so far, and Saints in the 22 points to 16 lead. but Leeds kicking that ball and feeding that ball there at the scrum, definitely in the second row, but Saints being penalised for kicking out in the scrum. Leeds had gathered the ball and Saints being penalised, so Creaser kicks for touch, finds touch right on the 25. So Leeds in possession, another 6 tackles to see if they can make it count, but some good solid tackling there from Andy Platt and John Fieldhouse. Snuffed the Leeds attack out, so it's Kevin Rain there trying to drive forward, and Leeds are linking up. Heron now feeds onto Powell. Leeds brought down 15 yards from Saints try line. Maskill brings it inside to Rain, taken down there. Good run from Rain. Phil Beavers and Chris Arkwright stop him. It's the last tackle for Leeds now. Conway, crossfield to Heron. Pressure on Leeds. Brought down there. The ball going loose. Gathered by Saints. Doherty coming away with it. Taken down by Healy. Leeds full back up in the attack there. Quick play from Paul Doherty there. To Paul Loughlin now in possession. And Saints just pegged down in their own 25 onto John Fieldhouse. Roy Haggerty creates the space, just couldn't release that ball to Barry Ledger. Tony Burke now, Saints taking it left onto John Fieldhouse. Flicks onto Chris Arkwright into space. Brilliant pass there from John Fieldhouse. Arkwright there looking for the support, taken by Andy Platt. Crossfield to Kevin McCormick. Just brought down inside Leeds 25. Saints on the attack again there. A good 50-yard into passing run from Saints. And John Fieldhouse now in possession. Keeping the ball going, but the ball being knocked to ground, and Leeds fall on that loose ball. So Leeds in possession just outside their own 25 and bringing it over to the left onto Heron, onto Powell. Haggerty and Loughlin bring him down. So Leeds now, Ashton bringing it left onto Heron, trying to break through that tackle of Bernard Dwyer, but Dwyer completes the tackle, and it's Conway now acting half-back, bringing it blindside. No way through. Sean Allen, Roy Haggerty and Bernard Dwyer again thundering to the ground. Crossfield now for Leeds, lofted pass onto Medley, taken down by scrum half for Saints, Paul Doherty. It's the last tackle now for Leeds. Ball coming back to Ashton, kicks upfield. Dennis Litherland well positioned, but Phil Beavers, the ball comes inside to Phil Beavers. Dennis Litherland comes with him, gets the return pass from Phil Beavers, and it's Sean Allen now taking the acting half-back position. Gets the ball, goes on his own, gains a valuable 10 yards. Saints bring it to the right onto Tony Burke. Skerritt in there, but can't bring this Burke down. Turns round, but just can't release the ball. So it's Bernard Dwyer. The Saints coming blindside again. Doherty grubbers for touch and finds touch 10 yards inside Leeds half. The Saints there putting the pressure on this Leeds outfit. Good work from Saints. 16 minutes of this second half, and the only scoring of the second half so far is a 4th minute Andy Platt try converted by Paul Loughlin. So Saints in the lead at 22 points to 16. So Conway to feed this scrum, and before he can get the ball in, being penalised there for feeding going down in the scrum there. So penalty kick to Saints. Paul Loughlin quickly steps up. A good 25-yard kick there from Paul Loughlin. 10 yards inside. 10 yards inside Saints 25, inside Leeds 25. Roy Haggerty in possession. Releases the ball to Bernard Dwyer. Tries to pass on to Paul Doherty, but the ball knocked down by the Leeds player, and the Leeds gather the loose ball. Gibson for Leeds in possession now. Unlucky there, Saints just losing possession in Leeds 25. It's Conway acting half-back for Leeds, taking it over to the right. Kevin McCormick in there with Paul Loughlin and Sean Allen effecting the tackle. The ball coming back to Conway, kicks upfield. Phil Beavers there, well positioned, gathers the ball with Dennis Litherland again, feeds inside to Litherland, but taken down by Francis with Conway coming up. Phil Weavers takes the acting half-back, goes on his own. Gains a valuable 5 yards, but brought down. Leeds quickly up the Leeds defence. On to Tony Burke, does well to hold that ball. Leeds pushing the Saints back just temporarily, I'm quite sure. But Bernard Dwyer feeds on to Roy Haggerty. Tries to create the gap through the middle. Gains 10 yards and brought down midfield. And Saints taking it over to Arkwright. On to John Fieldhouse. Crossfield looking to pass round the man Fieldhouse, but the Leeds man in his way there. And it's the last tackle for Saints. Ball back to Weavers. Kicks upfield. His counterpart Healy going to gather this ball. Stops it with his foot. Francis coming inside with him, but Kevin McCormack infield. Dumps him down with Andy Platt. And it's Gibson for Leeds. Coming crossfield, John Fieldhouse takes his man. Pegs him back. Maskill feeding onto Rain. Haggerty and Platt dump him down 10 yards short of the halfway line. And it's Maskill again for Leeds, and Leeds taking it right onto Skerritt, quickly onto Powell, taking over to Leeds right wing. Back to Conway, kicks upfield. Good kick from Conway, and finds touch 10 yards short of Saints' try line. Well, Conway saw the gap there, kicked upfield, a good kick, going into touch 10 yards short of Saints' try line, so it's a scrum down with Paul Doherty to feed. The referee finally get him packed correctly. What he doesn't like that is penalising Saints. Penalising Saints before they'd actually packed. So quick tap penalty to Leeds. Heron in possession, feeding on to Ashton, inside to Gibson. Looking for the gap, taken down by Sean Allen. It's Leeds on the attack now. Skerritt looking to release that ball, but solid Saints tackling. Stop him doing so. Rain now running from deep, brought down inches short of Saints' try line. So it's Maskill again, spreading it left onto Conway, onto Heron, short ball there onto Medley, but he's brought down. Good solid Saints tackling again. That's Doherty and Phil Weavers, and Ashton trying to chip through, but taken by Weavers, but pushed over the line by Doherty, by Ashton, I beg your pardon. So it's going to be a 25, a line dropout. I do beg your pardon. A line dropout there. Saints making a substitution. Paul Farber coming on to replace Roy Haggerty. Had a good solid game today, Roy Haggerty, but being replaced by another Thatterweath lad, Paul Farber. One of Saints' promising up-and-coming forwards. Phil Weavers drops out from between his own sticks. The ball gathered by Powell for Leeds, and gathers ground, brought down just short of the Saints 25, but it's Medley now in possession for Leeds, with a score still at 22 points to 16 in Saints' favour, and Leeds taking it crossfield. Quick hands there onto Creaser, but he's brought down by Kevin McCormack and Sean Allen. And it's Gibson acting half-back for Leeds, and Leeds bringing it crossfield, being forced back by some solid Saints tackling. Chris Arkwright, Bernard Dwyer. The ball quickly played there by Leeds onto Powell. Medley running into Chris Arkwright and Paul Farber. It's the last tackle for Leeds, 25 yards short of Saints' try line, and the ball coming back to Maskill, hoisting up and under. Phil Weavers there, well positioned, takes the ball safely as ever. Leeds come up quickly. Heron, first man in there, but safe as houses. Phil Weavers, the ball going to Andy Platt, I think it is, but Leeds offside there, had to play the ball, not allowing Saints to clear the ranks. And Paul Farber now, his first touch of the ball. Saints there trying to butter through, had to play the ball, and John Fieldhouse now spreading it over to Andy Platt, looking to turn inside to pass to Paul Loughlin, but the Leeds tackle, dump him down, and it's Saints still in possession. Onto Paul Loughlin on his own 10-yard line, kicks downfield, gathered by Healy, but quickly up there Paul Loughlin and Barry Ledger. With young Doherty, and they bundle him down, but Leeds on the attack. Skerritt's there, Loughlin in again, a terrific tackling stint from Paul Loughlin, and Barry Ledger over here on Saints right wing, and Leeds looking lively, taking it over to the right. Powell being brought down midfield. Onto Maskill, looking to burrow through, but no way through for him. Ashton, that's it, half back, bringing it left onto Conway, onto Heron, lofted pass to Gibson. Paul Loughlin initially stops him, but Chris Arkwright and young Paul Doherty complete the tackle. It's the last tackle for Leeds again. Bringing it left over to Maskill, Grubbers for touch, and finds touch 5 yards inside Saints 25. Ball coming out Saints side, but not being adjudged to have gone incorrectly. Paul Doherty to feed again, to the referee's satisfaction this time, and Saints win a scrum. But lose the ball there, quickly scooped up by Conway, and he goes over to the right of the posts for a Leeds try. 24 minutes of the second half, and Leeds back in the game now. Conway capitalising on one of Saints' rare handling errors in this game today. Quickly gathering that ball and scooting in the 10-15 yards, touching down just to the right of the posts. So 22 points to 20. Leeds back in the hunt, with Creaser to convert this Conway try, which will tie the scores up at 22 points all. The Creaser here lining up. Referee Horton in attention. Shouldn't have any problem with this conversion at all. Slots it between the sticks. So the score's tied up all again, 22 points all, with quarter an hour of this game remaining. Paul Loughlin to kick off now. Saints having made both their substitutions, Leeds haven't done so yet, and Paul Loughlin kicks off. Taken by the Leeds man, drives up. 10 brought down 10 yards short of the halfway line. Leeds bring it to the left. Rain in possession. Maskill taking the acting half-back position. Saints claiming that Leeds have lost the ball there, but referee Horton not having any of it. And Skerritt there, unceremoniously dumped down by Fieldhouse, Farber and Arkwright. And Heron now brought down here by Sean Allen, right in front of us. Conway, try scorer for Leeds, kicks upfield, but the ball going directly into touch, so it's a scrum down 5 yards inside Leeds half. Well, Leeds here just making a substitution. Number 14, John Holmes, wily old fox, coming on for Ashton. Well, John Holmes, a wily campaigner. The ball going in there, coming out Saints half. Saints in possession, Doherty. Chris Arkwright acting half-back, feeds onto Paul Farber. Bernard Dwyer now. Leeds not lining up at all, and all the offside there, but referee Horton is just pointing and not penalising. Saints now bringing it to the right. Chris Arkwright onto Andy Platt, breaks the tackle. Andy Platt looking for support, coming inside, but just couldn't release that ball. In fact, John Fieldhouse taken down there in a tackle, and he didn't even have the ball. But Doherty chipping through, taken by Heron, but the linesman on the far side, Mr Cornbury, is on, and the linesman at this side now. Perhaps he's perhaps he's on for that tackle off the ball on John Fieldhouse. So it looks as though Saints are going to receive a penalty in between, midway between the halfway and 25 in Leeds half. So the referee now, yes, penalising Leeds. Yes, for pulling John Fieldhouse. That was the initial offence, with Andy Platt coming through. As we've said before, John Fieldhouse being pulled down without the ball. The linesman, Mr. Thornbury, on again. So whether somebody's said anything out of turn, we don't know, but he's coming having his two-penneth again. Well, Heron coming over, captain for Leeds. But no further action being taken, so it's a penalty goal conversion from Paul Loughlin. Well, the linesmen, the touch judges, finally going behind the sticks as Paul Loughlin steps up to hopefully convert this penalty goal attempt, which will put Saints back in the lead. Steps up, it looks good from here. Yes, right between the sticks. That could be a valuable 2 points penalty goal kick for Saints. It restores Saints' lead now. So Saints 24 points, Leeds 22. Paul Loughlin kicking his 170th goal of the season and his 4th this afternoon. And Conway, scrum half for Leeds, kicking off, taken by Paul Loughlin. Approaching his own 25 line, the ball coming loose but being gathered safely by Saints, but coming out again of the tackle. Well, it must rule a knock on. In fact, he has done, so it's a scrum down 5 yards inside Saints 25 with Conway to feed, which he just saw the ball coming out, bouncing off the second rows. Gibson linking up. Phil Weaver stopped him. Andy Platt well up there. Leeds trying to get through there quickly, but Saints defence well up. Snuffle them out. Coming across field now. John Holmes out to Maskill. And Leeds in possession out to John Holmes. Taking it right onto Rain. Andy Platt snuffs him out, but he gets the ball to Skerritt. Tony Burke and Chris Arkwright. Paul Farber coming in there, effect the tackle. Midfield there, 10 yards inside. Saints 25 and Leeds onto Holmes. Quick pass onto number 11 Powell. Taken down by Fieldhouse and Sean Allen. Leeds putting the pressure on Saints. Taking it cross field onto John Holmes again. But not getting very far. Not making much ground, Leeds. But it's the last tackle now and the ball coming back. Conway grubbering through, but to go in touching goal. So it's going to be a 25-yard restart for Saints. Leeds plenty of possession, but not making it count at all. Saints defence terrific. Bernard Dwyer quickly playing the ball on to Paul Farber. And Saints taking it over to the left. And Leeds being penalised for offside. Well, I think that's the first time that he's actually penalised Leeds for offside to play the ball, but much to the delight of the Saints crowd over here on the popular side, and no doubt around the ground. So it's Paul Loughlin quickly takes the penalty kick and finds touch 5 yards short of Leeds 25. Bernard Dwyer quickly onto John Fieldhouse, going over there to Saints left wing, just penetrating the Leeds 25. And onto Tony Burke now, coming from deep, running into Rain, but turning round and gaining another valuable 2 or 3 yards. Chris Arkwright, loop movement with Bernard Dwyer. Andy Platt steaming in, with the ball going down, and Leeds in possession. Healy, full back for Leeds in possession, brought down on his own 25. Been very unlucky Saints in the Leeds 25, unfortunately losing quite a bit of ball. But Holmes onto Powell. Ducks under one tackle. Phil Weaver's there. Finally brought down by Kevin McCormick. John Fieldhouse prostrated in midfield. Leeds on the attack, trying to play it quickly out to John Holmes. Because he's really annoyed with himself. Knocks on and bangs the ball down to the ground. John Fieldhouse finally getting back into the pack now. A scrum down 10 yards short of 25. With Paul Doherty to feed, but the ball coming out Leeds side and it was knocked on. But the referee not ruling so, but Leeds in possession. John Holmes and Healy, the full-back for Leeds, linking up with his backs. Conway for Leeds taking it right onto John Holmes, long pass onto Heron, quickly gets shut onto Rain, but Andy Platt quickly in there. I beg your pardon, Kevin McCormick that was, quickly in there, bundles him down. Kevin McCormick again in at the tackle with John Fieldhouse. With a terrific tackling stint at present. Kevin McCormick is coming in field again, and the ball coming across field for Leeds. Heron juggling with it, Paul Farber in possession. And Saints getting a bit of the rub of the green there, and Tony Burke from the acting half-back position drives forward, gains 10 yards, brought down just short of the halfway line. Bernard Dwyer going on his own, not being given much room at the play of the ball by this Leeds forwards, but Chris Arkwright now looking for the half gap, finally gets the ball out, but Maskill in there quickly, fall on that loose ball. So John Holmes taking it over to Powell. Onto Conway, quick break onto Creaser, but Kevin McCormick's in there with Paul Farber. Oh no, beg your pardon, Dennis Litherland it was. And John Holmes again. Onto Gibson, gathers the ball, goes crossfield. Bernard Dwyer takes him down by the scruff of the neck. That was the jersey, nothing else this time. And Maskell acting half-back for Leeds. Onto Conway, crossfield to John Holmes. Onto Powell there, lurking over there on the Leeds right wing. And it's the last tackle of the set of 6 for Leeds. With about 5 minutes of this game remaining. And a knock on the referee a little slow in blowing up. What, about 5 minutes of this game remaining. Well, Paul Loughlin there just being adjudged the sponsors Saints man of the match. From the scrum, the ball coming out Leeds side. Leeds having the lion's share of possession from the scrum today. Holmes onto Heron, quick ball into Creaser I think, but loses his footing, taken down by Kevin McCormick. And Heron acting half-back, takes it right to John Holmes, onto Ray, throws it anywhere, taken by Francis, number 2 winger for Leeds. The referee ruling a forward pass and ordering a scrum down just inside the Leeds half. Saints with a slender 2-point lead, 24 points to 22. The ball being fed there and Paul Doherty coming away from the scrum onto Chris Arkwright. Saints captain leads by example, still going forward Arkwright. Just a bit boggy in the middle there, but the ground seems to be holding up rather well considering all the rain we've had. Doherty there, quickly taken down at the play of the ball, being given no room by Maskill. But Tony Burke drives in, shoulder down, out to one tackle. Good 10-15 yard run from Burke there. Bernard Dwyer acting half-back, taking it left onto young Doherty. Short ball onto Fieldhouse, return pass to Doherty. Brought down just inside the 25. It's the last tackle now. Doherty injured there, writhing in agony in that tackle. Just inside the Leeds 25. And the referee stopping the clock now as Saints physio comes on, but he quickly plays the ball, Doherty. But he's brought him back. I don't think he's happy with that at all. I think he's going to make him play the ball again. No, he's ordering a scrum down. Restarted the clock. Well, I don't understand the man's reasoning there for that. But it's Doherty passing the ball on to Conway. It's Conway to feed, obviously ruling an illegal play the ball at Saints. being penalised there yet again at the scrum, before the scrum was hardly packed for loose arm. Ruling Bernard Dwyer packing with a loose arm. So it's John Holmes, kicks for touch and finds touch just 10 yards outside their own 25. So it's Leeds in possession. 2 minutes of this game remaining. Paul Farber, Tony Burke and Bernard Dwyer effect the tackle. Onto Rain now, going crossfield, Andy Platt, John Fieldhouse, Chris Arkwright bundling down. Good solid display from the Saints forwards today. Conway taking it right onto Holmes, inside pass to Rain. Paul Farber snuffs him out, bundles him down. Good solid tackle there. Leeds player unfortunately injured. Ball coming out to Heron. Saints quickly in. It's the last tackle for Leeds now, and still pegged down just inside their own 25 onto Conway. Kicks upfield. Phil Weaver's asked to turn round to regather that ball. No problem. Barry Ledger linking up with him, but Phil Weaver's going midfield on his own. Just couldn't break out of that first tackle. It's Barry Ledger taking the acting half-back position, bringing it inside to Paul Farber. Still going Farber. Takes some pulling down in full flight. Barry Ledger again, bringing it right onto John Fieldhouse. Going crossfield, feeds it inside to Chris Arkwright. Looking for the half gap. Brought down just a couple of yards short of the halfway line, and Saints still in possession. Roughly a minute of this game remaining, and Saints just in a slender 24-22 lead. Tony Burke now for Saints. On to Andy Platt. Beats the Leeds defence temporarily, but bundled down. It's the last tackle for Saints. Up to Phil Weaver's, grubbers for touch. Underneath Francis's hands, outstretched hands as he tries to stop that ball. So at least we're down at the right end of the ground, just finding touch on Saints, on Leeds at 25. It's a scrum down now with Conway to feed, possibly the last scrum of the match. Well, it's all on full time now. The ball coming out with the feed. Francis acting half-back position for Leeds. Taken down, still in their own 25 by John Fieldhouse and Paul Farber. Leeds bringing it left onto Heron. And there's the final hooter. Well, two valuable points for Saints today, but Leeds ran them close. Saints finally running out 24 points to 22 with tries from Arkwright, Litherland, Doherty and Platt, with 4 Paul Loughlin goals. Hope you've enjoyed your match today. And so my name's Ron Hoof. I'm your regular match day commentator with Brian Pears, your videographer. We know it's coming to the end of the season, and as you know, you rugby people, you don't want to be starved of rugby in the close season. If you wish to purchase videos or hire them, have to ring Brian Pears up on Rainford 4536 and he'll sort you out. Anyway, thanks for joining us again, and we hope to see you later on in the week versus Barrow.